The apostolate, also known as the hanged man, implies sacrifice. It requires a mind that is in this world but is not of this world. A mind that only touches this world with thought. So, we must ask ourselves, what is the mind really? And what is the intellect? We can look at a teaching from Lao Tzu to help. Watch your thoughts, for they become your words. Watch your words, for they become your actions. Watch your actions, for they become your habits. Watch your habits, for they become your character. Watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. Reflecting on these words, we can notice something very significant. Consider that, especially during meditation, what can watch thought cannot be thought. What can watch the physical body cannot be the physical body. And what can watch emotion cannot itself be emotion. Then what exactly is watching in meditation? Most of us call it awareness. And what is awareness? It is a function of consciousness, which is far more profound than any sensual feeling, thought, or even emotion. And here we begin to see how Arcanum 12 represents a person who is connected to divinity by an energetic thread of their consciousness, a hanged man, if you will. This connection is dynamic. Anyone can verify this reality by cultivating a deep state of relaxed awareness in meditation. Then, when you stand up and go about the rest of your day, sooner or later, maybe after minutes or hours, you will notice how that deepened awareness fluctuates and can even slip from grasp entirely. To walk the path of liberating consciousness and awakening 100% means learning how to meditate in this dynamic, constant way. It is to become moment to moment a subtle consciousness, relaxed yet alert, just like that energetic thread which connects us to divinity and is itself so dynamic yet subtle. If we attempt to force anything with intellect, body, or emotion, that connective thread can, again, slip from our conscious awareness. We might say that a spiritual warrior is learning how to be still and silent internally, even while watching or listening to a video such as this. To achieve an ability like this is a journey with many levels. It is, in a way, the path itself. Arcanum 12 itself is an interesting number, because 12 supports the whole cosmos, holding the highest existing dimensions to the lowest. It is the dodecahedron upon which the solar system and all of the cosmos really is supported by. But more importantly, Arcanum 12 implies suffering and sacrifice for any apostolate or aspirant on the path who seeks to become a divine, liberated consciousness, what we would call an angel or a Buddha. This is represented on this card as this figure, commonly known in some tarot decks, again, as the Hanged Man. This figure symbolizes how we are connected to our divinity by a thread, hanging above an abyss of our own vices. We also see the two pillars of Jachin and Boaz, but reversed, meaning we are viewing the apostolate or the aspirant from outside the temple. And the aspirant is outside the doorway of further initiations along the mystery of perfecting their soul. On the white pillar are 9 segments, indicating the 9 heavens, and on the black pillar, 9 segments indicate the 9 hells, famously depicted in Dante's Inferno. This points to the synthesis of Arcanum 12, which is 1 plus 2 equals 3. In Arcanum 1, you may remember, the magician is pointing down with his right hand, instructing that in order to ascend, we must first descend. In order to consciously experience a higher heaven, a higher dimension of reality, as depicted in the Tree of Life, Kabbalah, we must consciously descend into a hell, which means to consciously confront our own denser and denser egos and vices, both in the physical dimension, but also in the astral dimension, the lower astral dimension, you could say, that exists within each of us in our lucid dreams and our various astral experiences that we will have along the path if we're doing the practices. Of course, Arcanum 2 is also found within this synthesis of Arcanum 12. There are 2 pillars, 2 forces, and we must learn to receive our challenges through conscious work with those 2 forces we may call masculine and feminine, or solar and lunar, projective, receptive. So whether we are working as a single person or as a husband or wife in a marriage in alchemy, we must learn not only how to stop physically expelling the raw refinement of our vital body, our sexual energy, but also we must learn how to energetically stop expelling that energy through forms of desire in our mental and emotional body and mind. This takes a lot of practice because first there's the physical orgasm to work against the momentum of, the inertia of, but then there's also the mental and emotional orgasm that we seek in streaming TV shows, in video games, or in spending time with friends and talking about latest gossip, whatever it might be. It's just a lot of trial and error in conscious day-to-day life and meditation practice. And here in meditation practice is where we learn how to reflect more clearly, to observe inwardly each moment, each instant, both moment to moment, but also in retrospection at the end of our day or whenever we have time in our day. However, Arcanum 1 and 2 also indicate the masculine and feminine cosmic forces as mentioned, which together become Arcanum 3, the Empress, who is our Divine Mother given many names throughout history, such as Isis, Mary, Tanensin, Kundalini, etc. Because she is infinite throughout the macrocosmos and the microcosmos, we each have a particular Divine Mother. And because she is infinite, God the Mother has no form, but may create any form. One such form is all the cosmos, every level of existence, from the Ein Sof Aur down through the 10 Sephiroth and into the abyss, the Klipoth. This can also be found in teachings like the 12 zodiacal signs, the 12 apostles, the 12 tribes of Israel, and the 12 saviors in the Gnostic Bible, the Pistis Sophia Unveiled. There are also the 12 hours of Apollonius, which refers to the process of alchemy, of purifying heavy metals or elements within the psyche, meaning to transform the lead of our ego and personality into spiritual gold. Given the deep complexity found in each of these teachings relating to 12 that I just mentioned in this video, we will only touch on a few aspects in relation to the core principle of Arcanum 12, and perhaps later in other videos we will dive into a specific teaching around Arcanum 12. First are the planets of our solar system. Each planet is a divine body of consciousness, with the potential to perfectly reflect in each of us, each of the microcosmos. Esoteric science teaches us there are a total of 12 planets, with 7 principal planets: the Moon, Mercury, Venus, the Sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Beyond these are Uranus and Neptune, but also planets unknown to modern-day astronomy: Vulcan, Persephone, and Clarion. Furthermore, each of the 7 principal planets relates to the various 12 zodiac, which are all within us. While we are each born into the energies of one zodiac, commonly known as our birth sign or sun sign in different systems, the deeper reality is that our soul incarnates into all 12 zodiacs throughout our default 108 humanoid lives. I believe it's 9 zodiacs each. This helps balance our soul with the qualities of each cosmic energy that we call the 12 zodiac. We, meaning our soul, our consciousness, is hopefully learning how to liberate from our egos created in that same process of 108 humanoid lifetimes and even prior. And by simply working on our egos, which are all related to those 12 zodiacal energies within us, we will unlock more internal experiences that our being knows we require. So really, as we meditate daily, we begin to know thyself, as the Oracle of Delphi instructs, to know our past lives, to know our egos, and then to know who we truly are, our being. For a more in-depth study of the 12 zodiac, as taught in the esoteric Gnostic tradition, find a link to this playlist from Astral Doorway in this video's description. We also have the 12 senses. There's visual perceptions, hearing perceptions, olfactory perceptions, taste perceptions, and tactile perceptions. And this relates with Arcanum 5, as we discussed in a previous video. However, in Arcanum 12, to complete the 12 senses, we have then the chakra Muladhara with 4 petals at the base of the spine, the chakra Svadhisthana at the height of the prostate with 6 petals, the chakra Manipura with 10 petals at the height of the solar plexus, the chakra Anahata in the heart with 12 petals, the chakra Vishuddha with 16 petals in the creative larynx, the chakra Ajna in the midbrow with 2 petals, also commonly known as the third eye, the chakra Sahasrara with 1,000 petals in the pineal gland, also known as the crown chakra. And of course, in the Western tradition, these are referred to as the 7 churches in the book of Revelations. And the only way to awaken these chakras is to vibrate them with the sacred vowels. So, real quickly, E, the letter I, but E in the crown and the third eye, E in the throat, O in the heart, U in the solar plexus, A in the lungs, in the sexual glands, and S in the coccyx at the base of the spine. And all of this must be done in a relaxed, aware meditation for up to an hour a day, if you like, ideally, although you can do 10, 20 minutes, however long you feel is best for you, and you can chop that up too. You can do 3 20-minute sessions a day if you like to get an hour in total. However, of course, in most of us, we barely utilize these 5 physical senses, let alone the senses of our 7 primary chakras. This is one way to describe how each of us lives in unconscious darkness. And this darkness and disconnection to our higher spiritual senses relates again to the hanged man and our need to cultivate a mind that is in this world but is not of this world. So, one essential way we strengthen our connection to divinity, aside from dying to our egos, both in moment to moment, but also retrospective ego death, is to balance our 7 primary chakras through the 7 vowels. As we work on the elimination of our animal desires, our lower desires, you could say, the egos, psychic aggregates within our psychology, we are purifying the inverted 4 elements within us that have, up until this point, dominated the energies of our inner divinity. We can see this as a symbol on Arcanum 12 within this man, his legs forming a cross while his arms form a triangle, which in us is inverted. This is an alchemical symbol of sulfur, which is esoterically fire. And what is fire? It is the Christic force. It becomes inverted in us through our egos, our animal desires, and thus we become like this hanged man. Our vital energy, through our unconscious desires, dominates our thoughts, words, actions, habits, and destiny. That is why chanting the 7 chakra vowels in a state of deep, relaxed, aware meditation is essential for our development, to connect us with those higher energies of divinity that those chakra vowels are calling down and then returning through the S mantra. And if you really meditate deeply with those mantras in this way, cycling through them, you can sense the energy descending, and even as it descends, causing your lunar energies to enter the light, you can say, enter into a deeper awareness. And then with the S mantra, you can feel that energy of your Divine Mother rising back up all through your chakras, up to the crown chakra. Although this may take some time if you're new to the practice. So this is how our Divine Mother heals us and corrects us and sets our hanged man or woman upright, so that the alchemical symbol for sulfur is pointing upright. In fact, when it is inverted in us, it's the sexual energy dominating reason, right? Dominating the mind. And when it's properly, right, when it's not inverted, when it's properly aligned, it becomes the chemical symbol for sulfur, meaning Christ, meaning the solar force, Krishna. So these 7 vowels, which fill us with the light of divinity, strengthen our will towards our being, our will to remain relaxed when life presents us with challenging situations, with trials, whether relating to our anger, gluttony, laziness, lust, pride, etc. And like with anything in the cosmos, there is a momentum to the energy of our efforts. So each day we meditate and mantralize or chant the mantras builds up a little bit towards the next day, no matter how little or how much we actually do that day. So practice every day, no matter how little time you have. Even 10 minutes is better, far better than 0. The key to all of this, of course, is inner observation of our egoic desires. Not using the intellect or emotional sense, but pure conscious awareness. This can be a challenge in the beginning, especially because even as we progress and think we are observing with pure awareness, usually, almost always, we can go even deeper and realize there are still more very subtle and subtler egos. And that is why all forms of meditation practice are so fundamental and so essential. Your moment-to-moment meditation and inner observation for egos in motion will enhance your sitting meditation, and your sitting meditation and exercises will reinforce and enhance your moment-to-moment meditation. So practice both and underestimate neither. By working every day to observe and change our psychology in this way, our inner landscape of thoughts, emotions, vitality, and physicality are working with our willpower, Tifereth, and we are purifying the impurities with divine fire. We are creating the upright crossman of Arcanum 12. We exist in a life of competing energies. Those energies are our day-to-day situations, but also the energies of our thoughts, emotions, and physical impulses. The cross of the hangman of Arcanum 12 is another symbol of how these energies found in the four elements cross between the exterior and the interior, the microcosmos and the macrocosmos, the illusion of day-to-day life, and the deepening realities found in each higher dimension. In the esoteric understanding of gnosis, all energy at its deepest root is ultimately hydrogen, or known as hydrogen. While this esoteric understanding of hydrogen does relate to the chemistry we know to a certain extent, it goes far beyond and is far more profound. You see, from the word hydro, we get waters, and from the word gen, we get genesis, or to generate. So we are speaking of an intelligent waters of generation. Such waters are, in truth, cosmic forces, cosmic laws. This hydrogen has long been expressed through archetypes in ancient scriptures of Eastern and Western origin, and so the 22 major arcana, and even Kabbalah itself, is a product of hydrogen. Hydrogen is not lifeless, unconscious energy. The hydrogen we're speaking of is a form of divine cosmic intelligence, unbound and beyond the physical dimension, the fourth dimension, even the fifth, sixth, and seventh dimensions. This intelligence, this hydrogen, is not merely singular or multiple, but a multiple perfect unity of divine intelligence. That is why so many spiritual depictions feature various gods and goddesses, such as in the Hindu tradition. And in Christianity, this multiple perfect unity of hydrogen is depicted as what we would call angels, archangels, etc. So hydrogen of a certain density is within every particle, every atom, every element found in chemistry. For example, as taught by Samael en Veor, hydrogen 384 is found in water, hydrogen 192 is in the air, and 96 is wisely deposited in the animal magnetism, emanations from the human body, X-rays, hormones, vitamins, etc. If we step back for a moment and examine the infinite root of creation in Kabbalah, we find hydrogen 1. During this great cosmic day, hydrogen 1 is constantly emerging from the absolute, the emptiness, the spiritual sun behind every sun, famously known as Christ. From this one hydrogen unfolds the tree of life, Kabbalah. This unfoldment is not in the distant past, but constant, eternal, here and now. Whether an atom in a fingernail or the deep void of space, there is potential energy, which is another way to say infinite. All potential energy is rooted in the absolute, found within hydrogen 1. So from there, hydrogen 1 unfolds into hydrogen 3, forming the upper trinity. This hydrogen 3 relates with the three forces and laws known by many names, such as Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Hydrogen 3 also relates to the proton, electron, and neutron. As the higher, subtle hydrogen unfolds into more density, hydrogen 3 elaborates into hydrogen 6, the middle trinity. Here we find dimensions of our spirit, Hesed, our divine consciousness, Geburah, and we find the origin point of our willpower, Tifereth. Beyond the middle trinity, hydrogen 6 unfolds into the lower trinity, first forming Netzach, the mental world, consisting of hydrogen 12, This energy is received through the brain and transformed, experienced as thoughts. As hydrogen-12 unfolds into hydrogen-24, it elaborates the emotional energies of Hod, also known as the astral world. Finally, hydrogen-24 unfolds into hydrogen-48, consisting of Yesod, the vital energies, and Malkut, the physical world and physical dimension. In the humanoid organism, Yesod and Malkut are where we must make a distinction between two important forms of hydrogen. There is the hydrogen that consciously descends until creating the coarse elements in this physical dimension. And within the humanoid organism, there is the hydrogen C12 or Si12, which is the raw matter of sexual energy in men and women. This is the same energy that each person can learn to transmute upwards and inwards, or to allow to flow downwards and outwards. And of course, that happens at different levels of ability based on ego death and meditation practice, etc. If transmuted, hydrogen C12 will rise up the spinal column and back into higher dimensions. So, hydrogen C12 first rises through the physical dimension, the realm of hydrogen-48, into the emotional body and dimension, where hydrogen-24, and then it will rise up our spine of the emotional body and eventually will leap, you could say, or jump an octave into the mental body, the realm of hydrogen-12, and that's specifically where we need to not get confused between the hydrogen-12 of the mental body and the hydrogen C12, which is the sexual energy that we are rising up these bodies, right? Because eventually we rise the hydrogen C12 up the mental body, which itself consists of hydrogen-12, and then it leaps again to a higher octave into the causal body, the world of Tifereth, where it is made up of hydrogen-6, but we're still working with the hydrogen C12, the sexual energy. So in this way, we are learning to create as the gods and goddesses created the greater cosmos by recapitulating that conscious descension of hydrogen, but within our own microcosmos, then we reascend it up our spines. While our intellect may conceptualize these two energies, to know them in reality, you must meditate. When the body and the mind becomes still, you can observe with consciousness and through spiritual senses how all existence rests upon energy that flows with a divine creative intelligence. And you may have this multiple times in your practice. You may comprehend it at your level today or tomorrow, and then in a year or two, in another deep meditation practice, or in any spontaneous moment, you may comprehend it at a new level that you are at in that moment, a new level of being. So, with anything that we comprehend, we must always remember that we are comprehending it at our level. We see in the waters of the card the Pentacle of Solomon, a variant of the Key of Solomon. The top 3 points relate to the 3 traitors of Hiram Abif, or 3 traitors of Christ within us. Namely, and these are symbolic, Judas, the demon of lustful desire in the sexual center, Pilate, the demon of the intellectual center of the mind, and Caiaphas, the demon of evil will in the emotional center, the heart. When we identify with any animal desire, any lower desire, we are speaking and acting with our inner Judas and sending our energies downwards and outwards in maybe subtle, maybe not so subtle ways. The same is true when we identify with a lower desire in the intellect or the emotional center, related with Pilate and Caiaphas. This all relates with art known as the 12th key of Basil Valentine, who was an alchemist. Here, a lion of the law is devouring a snake, which at one level relates to how our Divine Mother Kundalini rises up our spinal column and is consumed by the solar Christic force. And this happens at a very elevated stage of the practice after many years in working in alchemy. At a risen serpent, the Divine Mother Kundalini, energetically speaking, will only rise through conscious works of our human soul or willpower Tifereth, our consciousness. And in this case, Tifereth is the hanged man within the Kabbalah, the tree of life. So within the lower regions of our inner tree of life, we have a legion of lower animal desires. These lower desires, often symbolized as a fallen snake that crawls on its belly, indeed relates with the throne of our ego, the solar plexus, the large chakra in our torso, primary chakra. These are the very same desires we must observe, comprehend, and pray with our Divine Mother for comprehension and elimination. Of course, to go beyond the first 50% of our egos, to eliminate all of them, we need to work in the fiery forge of Vulcan, symbolized here with this barrel. It has a narrow, straight entry point at the bottom, precisely related with our sexual glands and the work between a husband and a wife in alchemy or white tantra. But you see along the shelf here that along the way into a successful work in such a marriage, the aspiring alchemist must learn to balance their inner psychology, their inner energies. They must study and they must work with the lion of the law to prepare their inner fallen desires or fallen serpentine energy so that their kundalini may one day be consumed by that solar force of Christ and truly liberate their soul into the higher dimensions or heavens of the cosmos. And that is why such a work, whether single or in a marriage, requires true unconditional love. Not a love based in subtle animal desire, in the inverted bowl or earth of the Taurus as seen on this card, hidden within our centers of consciousness, with the fallen lunar energies, you could say, but no, a love towards our inner being and all other beings, regardless of whatever egos we have or they have. In fact, if we have egos that resonate with their egos, then that's a beautiful opportunity for us to comprehend that resonating, inharmonious ego that vibrates in an inharmonious way and causes suffering and pain within us and within others around us. And then we can comprehend that ego with our Divine Mother in meditation practices, and we can eliminate it. And that kind of love is a fire that burns and purifies all egoic defects in our psychology, until only our divinity, our being, God or Allah within us, is what shines through our thoughts, our words, our actions, etc. To learn to love is to learn how to have infinite patience, because just as enlightenment and the cosmos is infinite, so too is our practice infinite. Even the angels are working to become archangels. Even among the Buddhas, there are more perfect Buddhas. So do not rush, but do not delay. Seek always a greater perfection, but recognize what Master Jesus taught us, to look towards the flowers in the field and see how they do not toil. They simply are.